Hi everybody, this is Fox Nomad, and today I want to help you travel smarter by showing you the DC government shutdown, what it looks like, and what it looks like if you're traveling here. I originally went to Washington, D.C. after seeing pictures like this of the garbage overflowing around the city due to the government shutdown that I was really curious to see what it looked like firsthand. And I was pretty surprised at how clean everything was. It turns out there are volunteer groups that have been picking up the garbage, and the city's local government has also picked up the slack to keep the trash bins clean.
Now, during the shutdown, the D.C. government is picking up the slack on some federal services, like collecting trash on the National Mall.
One other thing I noticed was how empty everything was, how clean the mall was, since pretty much most of the monuments as well as the museums are all closed in this part of the city. Now, if you're traveling to the United States or Washington, D.C., you might be wondering how this shutdown is going to affect your travels.
Whoop-de-doo! What does it all mean?
So first of all, as it stands now, the shutdown is still probably going as you're watching this video and I'm uploading it. And the US government was shut down 3 times due to budget disagreements last year in 2018. So the chance of this happening seems much more likely at least in the immediate future. So this is what you need to know about this current shutdown, and it can give you an idea of what it might look like for future shutdowns as well. Starting off with travel visas to the United States. So if you are a foreigner and you need a visa to come to the United States, the State Department is still open and still issuing visas. However, some of the offices of the State Department are located in buildings of agencies that are currently shut down, and if your application happens to be in one of those buildings, then you're pretty much out of luck. You're gonna have to wait until the government reopens for those visas to be issued again. And it's pretty much the same thing in reverse for American travelers. So if you have submitted your passport to get new pages or for renewal, chances are that you're gonna get that. It might take longer than normal, but chances are that's not gonna be completely delayed indefinitely. However, if your passport is in one of those buildings, you're pretty much going to have to wait until the departments are all funded again and they get caught up on all the work that they have issuing visas and passports. Now, if you're a US citizen who's applied for a visa to go abroad, say to India for example, you're gonna get your visa since those consular services are handled by the Indian government, for example, or those foreign governments. Your tourist visas won't be delayed or disrupted due to the US government shutdown. Now, as far as how travel inside the United States is affected, starting with Washington, D.C., if you look around, all of the Smithsonian museums are completely closed. None of them are open, and this affects a couple of museums around the country as well. Now, as far as the US national parks, they are all technically closed in the sense that the campgrounds and most of the staff are not working, and a lot of the toilet facilities have become very, very unsanitary, and there's a lot of garbage that's built up there as well. Now, because the national parks are so large, it's really impractical to actually shut them down completely. But just note that when you're traveling, if you're visiting a national park, you probably are going to get a very limited experience. You're not going to be able to camp, and it's probably going to be a day trip at most, since staying in the park might not be the best idea, and it may not even be allowed. You'll have to check the signs outside of the park. Unfortunately, all of the websites of the national parks are not being updated with new information because the government agencies have been shut down. So you're going to have to Google around to get the specific information for each park. And the national forests are closed too, but it's again a situation like the US national parks where it's really not practical for them to be completely closed. So you might have access to them, but you're not going to have the full services. The campgrounds are not going to be maintained. The ranger staff is going to be very limited, and the bathroom situation is probably not going to be stellar either. Now, I contacted several major airlines, both international as well as US domestic, to see if they would refund travelers who had made plans to visit the United States, for example, to visit, let's say, a national park. Most of them have said that they wouldn't, but a lot of them do offer optional travel insurance when you're booking the airfare. So if you check that option when you were booking your airfare to get that extra travel insurance, you might be able to get a refund for that particular trip. Otherwise, your second best bet is going to be to try to get a travel voucher to try to push your trip off to a later date when hopefully the government will be reopened and you can keep your travel plans. And if you're a US federal worker who did make travel plans, I would mention that to the airlines as well. The US domestic carriers seem to be more understanding for this situation. None of them at the time of this recording had made any official announcements, but you might be able to negotiate your way, at least getting a refund or perhaps a voucher. There are already reports of long lines and delays at many US major airports because a lot of them are currently running understaffed in terms of TSA agents. I think for most people, if you're coming especially to Washington, D.C. specifically for tourism, you're going to be the one who's affected the most. Most of the museums are closed, most of the monuments are closed, and it's going to be pretty difficult to see all of those major touristic sites in Washington, D.C. However, like I said, you can probably expect long lines and airport delays, especially the longer that the government shutdown goes on. So let me know, has this affected your travel plans, and what do you think of this situation? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you really like this video, please hit the subscribe button. I'll have new videos for you every week. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Alright, so now apparently they're meeting, Congress is meeting with the president right now, back over there. So I don't know how relevant this video will be, putting it together later in the day, but this is sort of what you can expect if there is